Welcome to the deep dive. So today we're stepping right onto the epic battlefield of Kurukshetra. Imagine the scene, right? The dust, the tension, it's thick. And then, kind of surprisingly, you get this moment of, well,
Truth.
from Duryodhana, of all people, the leader known for, let's be honest, his arrogance. That's where we're plunging in today. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 1, verse 4. Specifically, Duryodhana's really startling assessment of the Pandava army. Our mission, really, is to unpack what that acknowledgement tells us.
What?
About leadership, yeah, but also about wisdom, maybe, and facing reality. So Duryodhana, this proud Kaurava prince, he's standing there before his own huge army. But his gaze, it's fixed across the field. And he's not just, counting soldiers. He's seeing his opponents. He's actually acknowledging specific warriors by name, which is, well, it's a fascinating concession, isn't it?
It really is a big moment.
He points out Yuyudhana, describing him as a warrior as brave as Bhima. Think about that. Bhima.
Yeah, I mean, Bhima's strength was legendary.
Exactly. Then there's King Virata, who, stood with the Pandavas during their tough times, their exile. And even Drupada, remember him? Once my father's friend, now our enemy.
Right, the history there is deep.
And what's really striking, I think, is he notes that each of these heroes could command 11,000 archers. That's huge.
Massive.
For Duryodhana, who's usually so dismissive, to concede that kind of power, that's not just observing. It feels like a grudging admission. He's facing absolute titans.
Absolute titans. And, for someone listening closely, it adds even more layers.
Yeah.
Yuyudhana wasn't just brave, he was Satyaki, a direct student of Arjuna himself. So he represents, the Pandavas' elite training, their skill.
Oh, good point.
In King Virata. His presence, it wasn't just another ally. His kingdom helped the Pandavas during exile. That shows deep loyalty, a personal stake.
Right, it's more than just numbers.
Exactly. Even mentioning Drupada, whose old feud with Drona, Duryodhana's own teacher, kind of fuels the whole conflict. It shows Duryodhana's acknowledging the deep personal histories tangled up in this war. He's not just seeing soldiers. He's looking at a lineup of legends. Bhima, you mentioned him, superhuman strength. Arjuna, who could shoot arrows without even looking, practically.
Right. Unbelievable skill.
So yeah, it's not just a list. It feels like Duryodhana looking across that field and thinking, okay, wow, this won't be easy. I'm up against some really formidable individuals here, not just, an army.
Okay, so given Duryodhana's usual pride, his disdain even, what's the deeper significance here? Him acknowledging this undeniable force, is it maybe a flicker of respect, however brief? Or is it purely strategic, like sizing up the enemy properly?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And I think it's likely a bit of both. You lean towards strategy, maybe?
Well, you have to know your enemy.
It's exactly. Any good leader, any strategist, has to acknowledge the true strength of their opponent. You can't afford to fool yourself. That's strategy 101. But on the other hand, for him, for Duryodhana, this feels different. It feels like a moment where maybe, just maybe, the ego had to step aside for a second, faced with the stark reality of who was standing opposite him.
The reality of?
The reality that the Pandavas had, as you put it earlier, warriors of heart, history, and honor. These weren't just skilled fighters. They were men with deep conviction, unwavering.
That makes sense.
And if we zoom out from the battlefield for a moment, this offers a really profound lesson, I think. For strategy, sure, but also spiritually, practically. It's that idea. Even the strong must recognize the strength of others. And doing that isn't weakness. It's actually about clarity, strategic clarity, seeing things as they are. To lead effectively, you need to know what you're truly up against, not just what you wish you were up against.
That kind of pragmatic realism.
Yeah.
Yeah, even from someone like Duryodhana, that's a powerful kind of wisdom in itself. And it brings us back to that question. Was it pure respect? Or a calculated move, maybe even designed to, I don't know, subtly motivate his own troops by framing the challenge as huge, as epic?
Could be. Frame the enemy as giants to make victory seem even greater.
Right. But what's really compelling, if we connect it to that broader spiritual message you mentioned, it's this insight that respect doesn't make you weak. It makes you wise.
Spot on.
It lets you see the world, see your situation as it actually is, not just through the lens of your own pride or desire.
Exactly right. Think about it. It's like, imagine a grandmaster chess player, famous for their ego, and they suddenly realize their opponent doesn't just have one queen.
Oh, wow.
They've got 3 queens on the board somehow. It fundamentally changes everything.
It completely changes the game.
This isn't just Duryodhana counting bows and arrows. It's a recognition of spirit, of history,
Hmm.
of that deep conviction we talked about.
And that leads us really to our final thought for you, the listener, to maybe mull over. How might truly recognizing the genuine strengths in even people you see as opponents, perhaps in your work or life, how might that recognition shape your own approach, your own understanding?
It's a powerful question to sit with.
It really is. And look, we've only just scratched the surface here. This journey through the Gita, there's so much more to discover as this incredible story unfolds.